Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media LLC studio. 10x your business starting today with digital marketing from Just Minding My Business Media LLC on JMMB Media TV or Mindset Movers TV. Contact us at jmmbradio@gmail.com. Strength isn't something we all naturally have. It is something we do and then become. Rachel D. Greenwell, How to Wear a Crown, a practical guide to knowing your worth. Today we welcome Carmen Trice. Carmen Trice is, in her own words, a serial entrepreneur. She is a software engineer and serves as a worldwide consultant to many hospital systems. Though her field is IT, she launched a self-titling company, traveled the world, and then developed a multitude of enterprises from a hair salon to a trucking company. Carmen has also authored an ebook titled 10 Steps to Buying Your First Franchise. Now she is part of the soon-to-be bestseller anthology, Drop the Mask, Share the Crown. Welcome, Carmen.
Yes.
Hello, hello.
How are you this day?
I am doing pretty good. How about you?
I can't complain. All is good. Wow, you are more than busy.
I stay busy. There's not a dull moment at all in my life.
I see. So tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
Sure. She said earlier, I am a software engineer by trade. So most of the time I am programming hospital systems across the United States. I also, like I said, I own a women's boutique, a home health agency. So all day I'm changing hats. I'm at one moment I could be programming something. The next moment I can be working in my home health, leading that. The next moment I also co-own a CBD dispensary as well as a trucking company. So the next moment I can be trying to book loads for a truck. So it just depends. I do have staff, of course, to help me, but I jump in all of those areas as I need to.
Wow. So you're the programmer. I'm the one that keeps the computer running.
Right, exactly.
Yes, indeed. So wow, how do you find balance with all that you do?
I don't know what that is. What'd you say? Balance? I don't. Every day is different. I try my best. I tried finding balance and it just doesn't work. Sometimes one business is priority over other businesses. It's just never a balance. I also have 2 children and a husband, so I'm trying to, do what I can when I can.
Wow, that is amazing.
That is. Okay. So what led you to go into all these different avenues?
It's always me. I have a thought. It starts with a thought, of course, and then I start to research it, and then I see the kind of revenue that it brings, and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me look further to that. And I'm a woman of faith, so I just jump right in, and I see if it works. I'm not afraid of losing. I'm not afraid of failing. So, and I feel like I'm built to win. So I just jump right in. Some things work, some things don't. I just take it as a lesson and move on.
I love it. I love that attitude. Just go for the gusto.
Yeah, go for the gusto.
Yes, indeed. So, drop the mask, share the crown. What was your why?
My why was the fact that I have so many life lessons that when I talked to Dawn about the book and she was telling me the title, I'm thinking I have to stop holding all of those life lessons hostage and share it because it could definitely potentially heal someone. that's going through the same thing or that's been through the same thing. I just felt like I have lessons learned that I can definitely contribute to someone else's life. So that was something I really wanted to do when she brought it to me.
Yes, don't we all? I mean, if you live long enough, there's going to be many, many lessons to learn.
Exactly. Yes,
Was
yes.
was there a particular instance in your life that you felt you really wanted to share?
Yes. In my book, I talk about religion versus relationship with God. So there was a point where I was super religious, and I was no earthly good because I was so religious. So I found balance after I go over everything in my book, all the situations in my book. I found balance in the sense of not balance that we were talking about earlier, but balance in the sense of having a relationship with God and not being so religious. So because that religious came out of tradition. So I was able to develop after all that I went to develop this relationship with God to toss the religion and really really hone in on the relationship. So that was definitely a reason.
Yeah.
Powerful. Okay.
And that's important because there's a lot of religious people out there,
Right,
but
exactly.
a whole lot. They can quote every verse in the Bible,
But living
but
nothing.
right, exactly. And you can tell that they don't have a relationship just by how they live their lives.
Exactly. And I found that being transparent is most effective because there's someone that's been in your place. And if you're so high that, you can't even relate or act as if you can't relate, then you're not reaching anyone. So I want to reach someone that has been where I've been or I've been where they've been and we can share. So I feel being transparent is going to be most effective when trying to win someone to Christ.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. Because I mean, I've met people in my life, I call them beat you up with the Bible people.
Exactly. I know a couple of those.
Mhm.
They seem to, instead of embracing God, they make you feel some kind of way. Like, like if you didn't have an understanding of God after them, you wouldn't want one.
Exactly. Right. And that's my point. And that's some of the things that I've been through because see, my husband is a co-pastor of a church and of our church, and I'm not a first lady. And people want to put me in that position. I'm like, you can't put me in that position. I haven't been called to be the first lady. He's not the pastor of the church. We have an apostle that's over the church, but he's a co-pastor. So they automatically want to put me as a first lady and then hold me to a very heavy, high expectation. And I'm me. I'm Carmen. And I'm going to continue to be Carmen, and still have my walk with the Lord. So
That's right.
I think that you just hit on something very important. When we start talking about beliefs and people start talking about God and they have their own opinion of who God is and they expect you to live up to it. Number one, you can't. But one of the reasons why most people don't have a real relationship with God is because they don't know who they are. You said something very important. You're telling people basically, that's not who I am. This is who I am. And I'm not stepping out of the boundaries of who I am to please you.
right.
And that is a very powerful place to be in because that's one of the chief questions you have to ask yourself when you start asking yourself about relationship with God is who am I? Once you answer that, your relationship with God is going to change and your relationship with people is going to change, but I've been in, not in your situation, but I've been in churches that have, I've seen that happen and I've seen people be totally miserable, and in some cases it happened to me and it was a choice between pleasing them or choosing God.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I've been fortunate. I've chosen God, but many people don't make that change.
Right.
So to hear that is very powerful.
Yes. very powerful. Because at the end of the
Thank
day,
you.
we're not there for the people.
Mm-mm. It's about
And I
you.
had to learn that.
It really is about you and God. You know, however you conceive of him, it's between you and God. And
Yes.
that's the relationship. That's the responsibility. There's
Mhm.
nobody else. There are no other people in that relationship. It's just the two of you.
Right.
So that's really nice to hear. It's refreshing. It's refreshing.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I mean, we have to learn that because, when we're walking this thing called life, we want to be accepted
Mm-hmm.
by people. That's one of the biggest fears of so many people is not being accepted. And it's a
Right.
natural feeling. It's really a natural feeling. But once you get to a level where, like Ruth said, and like you said, you know who you are, then it doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
who accepts you.
Mhm.
And having a relationship with God, you know, even though you got people around you supposedly worshiping the same God that you have, supposededly having a relationship with God, but their actions don't show that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. Exactly. You're putting up a front at church, and it's just like, no, I'm gonna be me, whether I'm at church, I'm at home, I'm gonna be me. And for me, I think when I first got saved, I hit the ground running, and I want to know all things I couldn't do. Instead of concentrating on living and having a relationship, I was trying to figure out what can I not what can I not do and what can I do. So I was so focused on that and not focused on the relationship that I should have been building and learning, from the relationship with God, or even learning the lessons in church, or even learning lessons in the Bible. I was focusing on the wrong thing, and like you said, trying to please people and trying to make sure that I was doing everything right. I was cookie cutter, and I'm like, no, I don't know how long that's gonna last, because it didn't last long, because I wasn't authentic to who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, because each of one of us is unique.
Right.
There's no two people who have ever been on the face of the earth who are exactly alike. And
Mhm.
it's that uniqueness that God has given us. He made us unique. So he doesn't want us to be cookie cutter people.
Mhm.
That's that was never his purpose ever. And sometimes people will really do that to you. I know I've often been in situations where I had my own, I mean, years ago, when I had my own concept of who God was, and people came along and tried to take that away from me and tell me who God was. And fortunately, I was able to walk away from it and keep myself intact to a certain degree. Because one of the major problems that we all have is that we get born. And as soon as we're born, if not before, we have a group of people, not only parents and relatives and friends, but the whole society telling us who we are. And sometimes it takes years to unravel that and finally say, no, I'm not. This is who I am. And I'm quite
Right.
content being me.
Right.
Mm. It's a
Right.
wonderful feeling to be comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Definitely.
Definitely, definitely.
Mhm.
Wow, it was definitely a pleasure. And Dawn, I mean, I can't wait to read your chapter. It's going to definitely be
Thank you.
moving.
Mhm.
And, it's just where we are today, being in the right, being who you are.
Mhm.
It's so meaningful because at the end of the day, you can do that all day long, every day, the same way,
Right.
every day.
Yeah.
Right.
No one can beat you being you.
Right. And it
Yes,
just feels good to be free. It feels good
yes,
to
it
be free,
does.
you know.
It really does. It really does. Well, it
Mhm.
has been a pleasure.
Yes.
Don't
Thank
go nowhere
you.
because we're going to bring you right back.
Okay.
But thank you so much, Carmen, for sharing
Yeah.
and
Sure.
definitely dropping the mask and sharing the crown.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All righty. Okay. That was fun.
Yes, it was.
And I'm looking forward to reading her chapter. It sounds very interesting.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Lovely
So,
ladies, lovely ladies.
So who do we have next?
Well, next we welcome Rakita Edwards. Rakita Edwards is an entrepreneur, best-selling author, and motivational speaker. In 2006, after overcoming her own struggles with weight loss, she founded Wasted by Rakita to help countless others transform by taking control of their lives and becoming who they were meant to be. In addition, she authored her autobiography, He Beat the Hell Out of Me, From Doormat to Destiny, about her journey to regain self-love, having survived an abusive relationship. She is part of the anthology Radical Women, and now the anthology Drop the Mask, Share the Crown. Welcome, Rakita.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
How are you, ladies? This
We are
beautiful.
good. How about you?
Awesome. I'm pretty good. Is that too bright back there for you?
Just a little bit.
Okay, let me close that for you. All right, you ladies are having a great evening. Sorry about that.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, fine. Okay. Nice to have you, Rakita. You have
And
quite a
nice to be
story.
here.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to share with us Rakita's story?
Well, again, as you said, read in my bio, I'm a best-selling author, and I'm a certified personal trainer and specialist in exercise therapy. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a worship leader. Um, and I love what I do, and I do what I love.
All
That's
right.
wonderful.
So how did you get on the road? How did you arrive to where you are now?
How did I arrive at where I was? 2 years ago, the doctors had diagnosed me with, well, they said I had cancer. And in my heart and in my belief, because I am a Christian, I knew that this was going to be a test that he was about to take me through. And so after the doctors had told me that they thought that they had saw cancer, I went 6 months through um, going to see this internalist doctor about the mass that they thought they saw. And every time I would go to the doctor, I would talk to the Lord in this room that they would put me in because they had to run all these tests on me. And I heard the Lord saying that now it's time for you to stop hiding. It's time for you to get out there and open up your mouth. And so every test that I took kept coming back negative. But then they kept saying that they saw this mass and that it was cancer, and it was cervical cancer. And so I remember going home one day, and I remember just sitting in front of the TV, and I was Googling on YouTube, watching all these women that had cervical cancer. And I heard the Spirit of the Lord say, turn the TV off, and I want to talk to you. And so as God began to talk to me, he's like, it's time for you to wake up, and it's time for you to shake it up, and it's time for you to get moving in life. You're almost 60 years old, get moving. And so after that, I just began to, God had put it on my heart to write my first book. And I was kind of slowful in doing that. It's kind of being lazy. And then, the Lord just spoke to me and said, I'm going to keep on giving you these tests until you open up your mouth and you do what you're called to do. And after that, I just started getting busy with everything, started connecting. I started networking. And somehow I met Dawn. I don't know if it was on Clubhouse or if it was on Facebook. I know I added her because the Spirit of the Lord told me to add so many people to my network. When I added her, we were talking. And Dawn just told me, she said, I said, I don't think I can afford another anthology. She said, if God gives you the resources to do it, then I think you should do it. And after that, that was my yes to her. I was really hesitant, but Dawn just kind of talked to me. She talked to me for an hour on the phone. And after that, I said, you know what? I'm going to just live life, and I'm just going to do the things that I've always wanted to do.
Wow. I know that's right. And doesn't that feel good?
It feels amazing because I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert, but I'm an extrovert on demand. So it feels amazing to really be free. Like you just mentioned earlier with Miss Carmen, it's amazing to be free, to be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
And what's so amazing about that is that you don't have to ask anyone permission. You finally realize you don't have to ask anyone permission. It's you're right, So
Yeah.
it's lovely to hear that from you as well.
Yes, indeed. So give us a little sneak peek of what about your chapter in Drop the Mask, Share the Crown.
So in my chapter is entitled Unmask the Weight of Competition. And so I wrote about this particular chapter. I wanted to write about this because, you know, in this story, you hear that I used to run all the time. I'm a runner. I'm a personal trainer, but I would jog every day. And for 20 years, I would run past this woman, the same woman. Every day we would run and we would look at each other and roll our eyes. And I'm like, you know, I would get in my car and I would be like, I don't know what her problem is, but, you know, I know she don't want to fight because I'm not a fighter, you know. So we did this for almost 20 years. To this day, we are friends. We're best friends. And so I wrote about that story because I felt like, you know, as women, we don't give each other the opportunity to get to know each other without judging. We're always judging. We're always assuming. And we don't really take the time to say, hey, how you doing? Or I like your shoes. Or I like your hair. It's always that immediate competition thing. And so I wanted to write that story because, you know, I'm a loner. I'm not going to say I'm a loner, but I don't hang around a lot of females. I'm always by myself. But when I found myself like being more open to wanting to have these connections with females, that's when I decided I wanted to write about that story because we not only touched each other, but at the gym, we were in the gym telling the story and we had like 8 or 9 women around us listening and everybody ended up hugging that night. We didn't work out that night. We just ended up having a powwow in the bathroom of the gym and everybody left there. We were just empowered by each other.
And that's the way that it should be. It goes back to that saying, you can't judge a book by its cover.
You cannot, absolutely.
You know, and that is so true. You made me think of a story similar. Every day I would walk, I lived in a Lithuanian community, and every day I would walk home from work, and it used to be this man that would be standing in the door, and I would always say hello, and he would never say anything. He would go in and close the door. Like I hadn't said anything. And I just kept doing it. Every time he was there, I just kept, hello, how are you? And finally, he said hello back.
Yes.
So you made me think of that story because I don't know why he was parented like that, but it wasn't necessary. I wasn't going to bite him. It was just a hello.
Yes, I think neither one of us, we really didn't, you know, I think it was just self something that was making us not, you know, really want to be friendly towards each other. You know, she never did anything to me. I never did anything to her. We didn't know each other.
Just maybe fear of judgment. Just
judging each other. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Wow.
Because you're right. Women do tend to judge.
Yes.
Oh, look the way she's wearing her hair. You know, look at those shoes.
And they don't
to wear that out in the streets. You know, we do. Our little minds get busy.
They really do.
It's something we just need to correct. It's really a character flaw.
It is
and
a character flaw,
correct it because even though we may never say it out loud, it carries in the air.
Yes.
There's a vibe that we send out.
Exactly.
And people catch that vibe and react accordingly.
Yeah.
And we build up walls. We become so afraid of being judged that we're afraid to extend ourselves, even with the smile. You know?
Exactly.
You just summed it up right there. You summed it all up. That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. And now, with everything going on in the world, it is so important that we stop all of that silliness.
Absolutely. This is the year of women. Like we have a vice president. Like this is the year of women. We should all learn how to stick together. You know, I think we'll become more empowered if we learn how to learn from each other.
Exactly. And then what happens is that behavior trickles down.
Yes. It's generational. Yes.
It will affect many people.
Yeah. Just like a hashtag, whatever, goes around the internet virally.
Yes.
We need to love on each other virally.
Yes. We've been beaten down for far too long. It's time for us to lift each other up.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Time for us to lift each other up. So
yes.
And sometimes that's all it takes is just a smile. Just a smile can go so far. You know, a genuine smile, you know, you don't even have to say words, just a smile. And I think that's one of the things that we miss in this pandemic is that sometimes we can't see people smile. So we
Well,
have
you
to
can
learn.
smile through your eyes, and people know
Exactly.
that you're
Yes, you can.
You have to
So,
learn how to
yes,
smile through your eyes.
yes.
Yes.
But I've
Yeah.
learned through that experience that everywhere I go now, I'm gonna stop a female and tell her, "I like your hair. You're so beautiful." I'm not gonna hesitate to tell them, exactly.
Mhm.
I'm gonna congratulate as many women as I can. It's because it doesn't take anything off of me to do it.
And the response is so wonderful. I had a situation just last week. I was coming out of the doctor's office and another woman was coming toward me and she had on a really pretty pink sweater. And I said, "That's such a pretty pink on you." And she
Yes.
just lit up. It's like somebody just turned on all the lights. And she walked away giggling. It was like,
I
okay.
know.
And
That's
I
all it
felt
took.
good
That's all
too.
it takes.
It's so
We
simple.
wasted 20 years. We wasted 20 years running past each other, just rolling our eyes for what?
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
And then these are the things that we teach our children not
Yes.
to do.
Yes, absolutely. And
And
I am a
we
21
are.
year old.
Absolutely. I can't wait to read your chapter because it is definitely, like Ruth said, it's a character flaw
Yes.
that we definitely have to work on to get
Yes.
over.
Amen.
For sure, because we are definitely, missing out on blessings.
We're better together.
Absolutely.
We are better together.
Yes, we are better together. We are.
Yes, we are. So we're going to have a little discussion since it's a small group of us tonight. So I'm going to bring Carmen back in and we're going to just have a little conversation about the importance of this book, Drop the Mask. I mean, for obvious reasons, we know that people need to work together. Whether you're a woman, a child, a man, it's time for everybody to get over themselves and bring it together. Because at the end of the day, we are hashtag human. Let's make that go by.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And with the trial and everything that happened, with the verdict of the trial was to get John. I can't even call his name right now because it was so. I could feel a tenseness in my own body as this trial was going on. I hope they do the right thing. I was praying. I was praying. So, in your own, what do you think, Carmen? In lieu of what's going on in the world right now, how important is this book?
I think this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Pretty good. Okay. I think it's very important just because there are many people that could be helped with some of the stories that the ladies have written. And I think there's such a wide range of stories and testimonies and all kinds of things that these women have written about, and that it can certainly teach someone or help someone see a different perspective. I think a lot of times the way we grow up, and even if it's a racial thing, the way we grow up, we are so programmed to think one way. So I think this book will offer different perspectives and allow people to see things in a different way, in a different light. And it's all as well as educating people.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I have a chapter in the book that Ruth supported me with writing, and it's called You Plus Me Equals We. And it's all about, through different cultures, what collaboration is supposed to be through different cultures and from a religious standpoint. So we already had the instructions. And basically, I talk about the experiences that I had when other people are in my space, how much stuff I learn. We're night and day, but I am so engaged with that person because I'm learning something that I didn't know. I'm able to go back and we're able to go back and forth. The conversation is, we lose time. We have so much fun. Let's put it that way. Learning about each other and bringing our ideas together in such a way that we're able to create. And it's a wonderful feeling. It really is. I have always been a we person, because I do realize, even though I wear a lot of hats like you do, Carmen, but I know I need help. And I ain't afraid to ask for it.
Well,
we all do. We all do.
And that's a big lesson to learn, that we need to reach out and say, I don't know.
Right.
You know, and for some of us, it's really hard, maybe because of the way we were raised, but it's in those childhood instructions, programming sticks with us. And so to learn how to say, you know, I don't know, I need help, please help, you know, I'm drowning over here. You know, it takes a lot. And I think that's one thing that women have more in common than sometimes I think men do. I don't know, because I'm not a man. I'm not in the boys club. So, but women will, you know, even under duress, even under situations where maybe they may not be the best of friends, if it comes to a matter of survival and getting things done, we will pull together. We'll put that stuff down and say, okay, what's the greater issue here? You know, is it about these children who need a place to live and they need food and they need clothing? Well, I don't care where you come from. This is the issue. And this is what we have to come together over. And I think that is one of the great things about being a woman, is that we have that ability to expand beyond our own needs and wants, and especially material desires. Women will let go of material desires much faster than men, because I think for men, their material possessions, it's about their ego. Their ego is tied up in what they own. And women are more tied up into what they feel, you know, what can be done. We have that natural inclination to mother, to nurture, to nourish. And it's really beneficial. And in these times, it's required. It is really a requirement for life. And that's why I love the work that Dawn's doing and all of you as authors are doing. And you're giving me courage to eventually step out and tell my story, because again, each woman who has lived long enough has a story to tell.
That's true.
And it will help somebody. You know?
Right. I think sometimes we also have to, we get stuck because we are not willing to unlearn some things. There are some things that a lot of people are taught, you know, as a child, and you believe this thing growing up. Sometimes, I mean, we love our parents and we love our siblings, but sometimes they're not always right. So they teach us a certain thing growing up. So I think a lot of chapters in this book will help people unlearn some of the things they've been taught all of their lives. So I'm excited to read a lot of the other chapters as well, because just hearing about them is really intriguing and make me like wonder what I'm going to be reading. So I'm so excited about it.
Yes, I'm excited too. And
I am too. Yeah.
And this is so timely right now with all the divide that we've seen in the world, and also all of the coming together. We've seen divide, but we've seen the entire world come together on an issue. And that's huge.
Just the fact that so many people are doing anthologies. It's about people coming together. It's about that collaboration, you know, and cooperation. On so many levels. Yes, you're right, Ida. We have seen huge divides, but at a more tangible level, there are many things that are coming together, and they're coming together differently. And I'm not just talking about the economic structure, I'm not talking about the political structure or anything like that. There's something else that's coming together, and it's coming back together in a different way. The way that we went out in the pandemic is not the way we're coming back.
Right.
And it's lovely that people are seeing that they don't, they're actually saying, we don't want what we had. We just don't want it. We found out we could live without it, and it's fine with us. You know, I like Ida says, you know, one of the things that she enjoys and that her family enjoys is that now she's at home in the morning and they all have breakfast together.
Yeah.
You know, it's just something that small.
Yeah.
People are not willing to give it up now. They're like,
Right.
I don't know what you're going to do out there. You go right ahead. I'm going to stay home and make sure that my family
Yeah.
is intact, that
Yeah.
I'm intact. And
Yeah.
so it's going to be interesting, you know, and it's like, I think it's like the work that you're doing as an author is so important because, like you said, this book is going to give people someplace to look, you know, and to
Mm-hmm.
think about, oh, what ways am I wearing a mask?
Mm-hmm.
How can I drop it? And in what ways can I share all the benefits, all the glory, all the goodness? You
Yes.
know, it's not, I don't have to own it all, which is so
Mm-hmm.
much of what we've seen in
Mm-hmm.
this country. You know, we've seen the whole corporate structure of this is all mine. And people now are more like, yeah, no, I don't need it all. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
don't need it all. I need some. Yes, I want some. And I
Right.
want abundance, but I don't have to have it all. And I don't have to dominate it all. And I don't have to keep it from you because if I give some of it away, there's enough for everybody. And I
Yeah.
think that's what I get from anthologies. That's what I'm hearing in anthologies. Uh, there's enough for everybody. We can give it away. There's enough for everybody.
And the
There
thing of
truly
it is,
is.
it's always been enough for everybody.
Right.
Always.
It has always been enough. It's just the mindset of people wanting to be greedy,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
people wanting to be in charge,
Right.
and really not knowing, understanding what leadership really, really means.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because real leadership is not in charge. Leadership is learning how to work alongside other people,
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
for, for
Oh,
sure. Wow. But this has been
Yeah.
awesome. Carmen,
It
I'm looking
has.
forward to learning more about your business and you on the
yeah.
techie side. I'm on the techie side. So we definitely need to collaborate and
Definitely.
create some synergy and
Yes.
around the text. Because, I mean, technology has really, really expanded since the pandemic. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was in a situation where I had to help people to work from home. I had
Mm-hmm.
to move an entire company from an office situation to working in my kitchen or working in my living room situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it was a lot for many, many people. It was a lot. You know, there
Mm-hmm.
was times I had to hold hands and teach what is it, what is Wi-Fi, because some people didn't even know what
Oh
Wi-Fi
wow.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I
so
totally
it was,
understand that.
yeah, yeah, and it was like I get a ticket, my internet not working. I call them up. Well, is your Wi-Fi on? What's that? I'm like, okay, here we go.
Right. We're starting
Exactly.
there. Yeah. I
Yeah,
just wish I would have bought some stock in Zoom. I mean, if I'd have known, oh God,
I
that
know.
could have bought some stock or something in Zoom if they if they're being traded, I would have loved to have been a part of that. Just
I
because
know.
everybody's using it, and I'm like, oh wow,
Oh
Mm-hmm.
Skype,
yeah,
Zoom, all of that.
yeah. My company went from 200 and some Zoom meetings a month to 2,000
Wow,
a month.
wow,
A lot of
yeah,
which, you know, because they, you know, a lot of them are techie, so we have to facilitate their meetings, and sometimes the meetings are for people overseas, and you know, so Zoom has definitely been well used.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, the pandemic has taught me a lot. Especially it's opened up a lot of dialogue for me and my boys. Like I guess as every other family, we're we're home together at a certain time every day. Our regular routine, but our routine was of course broken up with that, and we were able to spend a whole lot more time together. And I was just able to sit with him. I have a 17-year-old, and just to hear some of the things that he's going through, and I'm like, wow, I haven't sat down and talked to my kids for this amount of time in, I don't know, a long time. So I think that yeah, like you said, nothing's gonna go back the same. And I don't want to go back the same, like you
Neither
were
do
saying
I.
earlier. Yeah, because I found out I'm like, he's just like me. He's going through some of the same things I went through at that age. So it's just being there for them and what they're going through. And had this not happened, or the world would have been in that state, I probably would have been touch and go as I was, you know. So yeah,
And
it slowed down for me for good reason.
yeah, I love it. I really like I feel so much more relaxed now. You know,
Mhm.
'cause my commute to work was an hour and a half one way. So
Wow.
you know I don't miss that.
Exactly. No.
You
Not at
know I
all.
don't miss that. And being able to get up and have my meditation and
Yes.
actually starting work in my pajamas.
Right. Right.
I am like really enjoying that aspect of it. And during the summertime, I'm able to go out of the deck, drink my coffee, you know, watch the wildlife, and then go to
Mhm.
work. You know, so
Mhm.
I'm like really loving it. They can keep me home forever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me
You
And
know,
too.
also being able to meet so many people through
Mhm.
what we do. I mean, we've interviewed people all over the world during this pandemic.
Wow.
It has been
I bet.
so amazing.
mm,
Been able to launch my own TV channel.
That-
I mean, it has been. I've got a lot of things done during this pandemic.
Yeah, and
yeah.
that's the good thing about it. Yeah. The
Mm-hmm.
things
Yeah,
that I had on the back burner, I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and get this done as if I have more time. But I had a little bit more time because I traveled every week. I traveled Monday through Thursday because a lot of my clients wanted me on site. So I would travel Monday through Thursday. Again, that took me away from my home. So now that I don't have to do that anymore, and we're finding out, oh, it's cheaper to keep her there, and we just pay her, we pay her and not have to have that travel expense. So they are realizing that, and I feel like I'm not gonna be traveling as much, even when the world becomes back normal.
yeah,
So that's a good thing.
that is a good thing, and I think a lot of
Hmm.
companies have realized how much money they're saving in office space.
Hmm.
Office
Oh
space,
yeah,
traveling.
yes,
Absolutely.
right, yep,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
because I mean, I do a lot of work with Verizon, and pretty much all their people working from home. When I call, they like answer the phone just like they used to when they was going to the office.
Yeah.
And many of them are really loving the fact of being home. I still
Mhm.
get the same type of service because I pretty much talk to Verizon probably like once a week about
Mm,
something, and it's like they loving it.
right. And
And nothing really skipped the beat.
right. And for the companies, I'm sure retention is playing a big deal because they're going to keep their people a little bit longer. They're a little bit more happier, being at home. I'm sure than
Yes,
coming into work, so they'll stay. They'll be willing to stay longer. So
Mhm. And that's what so
absolutely.
many
retention.
people are saying. They said, I'm
Hmm.
happy at home. I can work from home. And if you don't want me to work from home, there's somebody else who will let me do that. So, see you.
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Same type of work, same type of credentials. I've got them. They need them. You don't want me to work at home.
Yeah.
I guess it
That's
was nice knowing you. And it's just,
right.
it's
There's
just the way the
more
world is
opportunity.
turning. And it's lovely
Hmm.
because we went from being people who were so, I mean, scattered and racing. I'll say racing. We would race through the week. Everything was a pitch against time. And finally, the pandemic slowed us down. And now we're humans being, not humans doing.
Right.
And that's what feels really good. I know for me, it's like I'm not trying to do, even though in some ways I'm busier now than I was before the pandemic, because there are
Hmm.
more things that I'm trying to accomplish for myself.
Right.
So I'm really busy creating my own space, my own work. But still, it's different. It's not the
It's
same
so
kind
much
of
different.
pressure and irritation and,
Hmm.
traveling here and traveling there and dealing with a whole bunch of people that you don't want to deal with. Actually, now you more or less get to choose who you want to deal with. And
Exactly. Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
real
That's so true.
plus. That's a real
That's so
plus.
true. That
I
is
mean,
a
Yes.
real plus.
you can size a person up if it's a business situation. You say, well, I don't think I want to do business with this person.
Hmm.
and you move on, you know? So
Yeah.
it's very different. So it's going to mean people are going to have to, we were talking about earlier about character defects. This is a time where people probably have come up against their own character defects, mostly because they see them mirrored in the people who get on their nerves.
Right, exactly. True. That is so true.
For sure.
Yeah.
This has been awesome. Small group tonight, but intimate. So I like this. And thank you so much, Carmen, for all that you do. Yeah. And we can't wait to read your chapter because I know it's definitely going to be powerful as you are.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
It was a joy. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And everybody out there who sees this, remember, #human. Let's work with human. Because if we do that, we're gonna drop the mask and share the crown. We won't have a choice. So love y'all and hang in there.
All righty. Good night, Carmen.
Okay.
Good night, Ida.